Now then, folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the Movies, back with you again for another haul, another DVD, Blu-ray and 4K collection update for the channel. Again, I'm in the attic because, as you'll have seen from the previous video on the channel, the new movie room is not finished yet, and the old one is still full of everything that was down in the cellar, so completely unusable. So I'm up here in the recording studio again to film another update for you. Now, I've kind of eaten my words a little bit, and maybe I'll have to eat this hat, because I said at the end of May, I said, oh, well, my son's been born in June, and I probably won't have much opportunity to get out and do any shopping or, you know, get any titles or whatever, so it'll probably be a small month, and I'll probably have to condense it into, yeah, that didn't happen. So we've a reasonable stack for you. My birthday was this month, so I got some titles for my birthday. I also got some money for my birthday, which of course went on titles. I also had the pleasure and the privilege of finally meeting up with Sam Glendenning, and we went out in Leeds this week and did a bit of Blu-ray hunting as well. Laura and baby Alexander came with us as well. So there's a few titles that I picked up there as well, as some Amazon pickups and things like that. So yeah, I've kind of, like I say, eaten my words a little bit, and I've ended up with a fairly sizable haul to show you. So as always, let's start with some DVDs. So the first one I want to show you is the Omen trilogy. So this has got the original Omen from the 70s in it, and then the two immediate sequels to it. £2.50 in Trade Me in Leeds, which, as I've said many times, is a CEX type shop that does games, media, consoles, phones, all that sort of good stuff. And they usually try and beat CEX on price where they can as well. Now, I nearly bought the complete Omen collection, which has the 4th and 5th and then the remake in this of this series, should I say, in HMV when I was out with Sam. And I said, you know what, I'm going to hold off, and I'll wait either for them to do a box set with the new one that's coming out over the summer, or, you know, I'll wait for it to drop in price, or I'll just watch them on Disney Plus, whatever. And then we were in Trade Me In, and this was there for £2.50, and I thought, well, do you know what? I've got to take the punt on it. So there's the Omen trilogy. I'm sorry there, you can see the ring light's gonna clash with a few of these, so I'll do my best to keep it out of the way. But I'm looking forward to watching those in readiness for watching the new one over the summer. The next one, I picked up the DVD release because, as you know, I'm perfectly happy with DVD still. But this is a Korean film. It's a sci-fi film. There was a steelbook of this as well, which a few people have picked up. But as I say, I'm more than happy with the DVD, and that is The Moon. Another film now to add to my Nicolas Cage collection. I thought I had this, and then when I checked the collection, I didn't. So I've picked up Nicolas Cage and Joel Kinnaman in Sympathy for the Devil. To go with the version of License to Kill that I picked up last month, I found this one in another charity shop. So I've now got the two Dalton films on every version that's sort of been released on DVD and Blu-ray. So I picked up The Living Daylights. So the next one to show you is another duplicate, if you like, but it's one that I've picked up purely for collecting purposes. My favourite film of all time, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I didn't have this particular edition. The slipcover is in really, really great nick, and I like that it's all sort of embossed, and, you know, it's got that really sort of nice sort of effect to it that makes it look sort of almost like a, you know, sort of a bit like a painting, I suppose, which I really quite like. I won't ever be watching this version because, of course, I've got the 4K steelbooks, I've got the 4K, you know, standard, I've got them on Laserdisc, I've got them on DVD, VHS, I've got this film on pretty much every format there is going, to be fair. So this is purely just for my Indiana Jones collection rather than as something that I'll be watching. But for 50p, I'm more than happy to pick this up. I've picked this up on Sammy G's recommendation, so if it's crap, mate, I blame you. Only kidding. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm finally taking the plunge. I'm not expecting great things, but apparently the sequel is a better film, so I'll watch it in preparation. The next two I'm going to show you together, if I don't throw them on the floor. It is They Call Me Mr. Tibbs and The Organisation, the DVD releases. I already have In the Heat of the Night, but didn't have these two, and they're actually quite difficult to get a hold of. Now, I was browsing through Vinted and found this for £3 plus postage, so decided to jump on it because it's about 15 quid on Amazon, so thought I'd do that, and then realised, well, if I've got the beginning of the trilogy and the end of the trilogy, I need the middle one. So I initially took a punt on a second-hand copy on Amazon for £1.50, and they sent me it, and it was in immaculate condition. The case was great, and I'm thinking, we're on to a winner here. Opened it up, and they put the disc of In the Heat of the Night in there. So obviously whoever had it hadn't checked the disc and just thought, well, there's Sidney Poitier on the cover, there's Sidney Poitier on the disc, it must be the same film. So I ended up having to return that and get me £1.50 back, and then actually sort of I think it was about 12 quid in the end. But by which point I was invested to get the They Call Me Mr. Tibbs. So I've got those now in the collection. I picked this one up in a charity shop in Huddersfield when we went out to get Alexander's birth certificate sorted out. We did a bit of shopping there and had a look. For those of you who've obviously looked at my shorts on this page or on my Instagram, you'll see we took him in HMV as well afterwards, which was a sweet little funny moment for me. But in the Oxfam on Huddersfield High Street, I picked up Paul Walker in Running Scared. This next one grabbed me, and I actually bought this, and it was a scratched disc. And I thought, when I read the premise on the back, I was like, really want to watch this film, and it's got Michael Douglas in it and Melanie Griffiths, two really good actors. And then I looked at the disc and I was like, oh, it's scratched, and sort of went to put it back and sort of had a look on Amazon to see how much it'd be to get a decent copy. And it was something like 25 quid for the DVD, so hard to get a hold of. So I thought, well, do you know what? For a quid in a charity shop, I'm going to buy it. I went into CEX later that day and got them to clean it for me, and they've sanded it and done all that and sort of brought it back to life, and it's absolutely fine now. And that is Michael Douglas, as I say, in Shining Through. I've picked this one up. The plot intrigued me, and the cast is exceptional. These two ladies, I'll watch anything that they're in. I've heard mixed things though about the film from people who sort of fellow YouTubers and stuff. Sam was one of them. That is Mother's Instinct, but I'm looking forward to watching it. I picked this one up in the local charity shop as well. I'd sort of had it on my radar because there's been a moth or something that just flew across the camera then, if you saw that. Yeah, this one's had a fancy Blu-ray edition come out recently, and it's been on my radar since then. But then I saw this DVD for £1 and thought, yeah, do you know what? The DVD will be fine for me, and it is Tom Selleck in Quigley Down Under. And then the last DVD to show you is one that I bought literally this lunchtime, purely based on the premise and the fact that it's got Michael Biehn in it, and that is a film called Asteroid. So this doesn't look like it's going to be anything too special, just sort of, TV, sci-fi movie sort of thing, but I'm here for that. And those were the DVDs, folks. So let's now take a look at some Blu-rays, shall we? I'll tell you what I'll do before I show you the standard Blu-rays. We'll mix it up a little bit this month. I'll show you the one and only boutique Blu-ray set that I've got. This was a present from Laura for my birthday. It is the new 101 Black Label box set of The Lawnmower Man and Lawnmower Man 2. So I really enjoyed these films, or at least the first one. I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen the second one all the way through. But really enjoyed the first one. It's just sort of real 90s nostalgia and cheesy sci-fi, and of course Pierce Brosnan, and being a mad Bond fan as I am, I enjoy most things that he puts his name to, and I've had the DVD for years. So when I saw this was coming out, I was like, straight away knew that I wanted it. And then when I realised that it was coming out 2 days after my birthday, I sort of said to Laura, I said, well, if you fancy getting me out for my birthday, I said this would be lovely. So she had it on pre-order. Of course, she was busy giving birth the week of my birthday, but yeah, this sort of turned up in the post. So I've yet to sit down and watch it because, as I'm sure you can imagine, we've been very busy. Though I have actually watched loads of films this month. I've probably watched more films this month than I have done all year, because obviously I'm on paternity leave, and baby's not up to doing much other than sort of chilling and feeding and being loved and safe. So we have been doing a lot of just sitting in bed and watching the telly, sitting in the room and watching the telly, and it's been really nice and chill. But I will be getting around to watching that soon. It's probably going to be one of the ones I'm going to save to sort of christen the new cinema room with. So with that shown, let's have a look now at the standard Blu-rays, of which there is a healthy stack. The first one is an American import. This is a film I have on DVD, and had no real interest in upgrading it until I saw that the special features contained another film from this series that we can't get in the UK. So that is Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf, because I am a Scooby nut. And the film in the special features that we can't get here in the UK is Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood, and it's a movie sort of continuing on, and a bit of a clip show thing based on the later Scooby-Doo Where Are You series that they did in the 70s. It's only ever come out on videotape over here. I had it taped off the TV years ago, and then as we got rid of all our videotapes and stuff, didn't have the foresight to keep the tape and sort of digitally scan it or whatever to the computer. So I've been after that for the longest time, and I'm very glad to finally have that in my collection. I am going to get the Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island double feature, and the Witch's Ghost, Alien Invaders and Cyber Chase ones that have been announced recently, and I might in the fullness of time, maybe like ask for Christmas for Boo Brothers and Ghoul School, if I could speak, to sort of complete that little trilogy. But I'm not going to be, as much as I love Scooby-Doo, sort of, I'm not going to be actively rebuying all of them that are out on Blu-ray, I don't think. So we'll see. The next two I picked up in CEX, and they actually came as part of a box set, but I have the first one on 4K already, but wanted the second and the third upgraded to HD, so I got it for these, and then gave my missus's cousin the first one on Blu-ray because she likes her movies as well. So that is Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. Picked this up when I was out with Sam. It was £8 for the box set, so £4 each for these. I'm happy for the upgrade. I picked this one up in HMV. It's one of my favourite Bruce Willis comedies, and I really enjoy this film. It's Death Becomes Her, reduced to $7.99, so there was no way I was leaving that there. I've picked this one up because it's a film that I've been meaning to watch for the longest time and just haven't got round to it, and it is Robert Eggers' The Witch. The next one to show you is a new release from, as of filming this week, it is Godzilla and Kong, The New Empire. I'm about 2 films behind on this series, so I'm going to have to play catch up. But it came, and for once it's in a full-size case, and it's got a really nice slip on it as well, which is not always the case for new releases these days. Obviously, beggars can't be choosers, and when stuff gets released on physical, I think we just kind of have to be grateful that it's been released full stop. But it was really nice to see a full-size case and a proper slip on a release for once. I picked this one up in a shop called Diversions in Huddersfield. I'm going to shout out now to my mate Gareth that runs that shop. It's a comics, records, pop culture, movies, toys sort of shop. It's just all things geeky and nerdy and sort of music, movies related he sells. It's a really quirky, cool little shop in the centre of Huddersfield, and if you're ever there, you need to go in and pick something up and say hello to Gareth, because he's the nicest guy and he runs a really great business. And he did a favour for me, and he had something made up for me, and refused to charge me for the privilege of it, which, buddy, that's really kind of you. And I was in there and I was like, well, I've got to return the favour and buy something while I was in there. I was fully intent on paying for what I'd asked him to do, but he wouldn't take any money from me. So I decided that I would go through the DVDs there on sale and the Blu-rays, and decided I would upgrade my copy of The Hunger Games. We watched this again. In fact, we watched all 4 of them this week, and it felt quite poignant to do so, given that Donald Sutherland obviously just passed away the weekend before filming this video as well. And the man was such an exceptional talent. Those films by no means are the peak of his career. You know, you've got things like Clute and or Clute, I'm never sure how to pronounce it, and, you know, Invasion of the Body Snatchers and things like that, that are, you know, the ones that you really want to be sort of checking out. In fact, me and Laura are going to be rewatching Body Snatchers at some point this week. It's out of the shelf and sort of next to the DVD player, ready to go. But yeah, such a shame. You know, but he's had a long life. You know, lived to 88, which is more than a lot of people can say, and, you know, he's had a really happy and healthy and successful life, hasn't he? So, but yeah, an absolute talent. So it was a real pleasure to rewatch those films this week, and nice to rewatch the first one on Blu-ray as well. The next one, this one was a film that I sort of came out of the cinema and had real mixed reviews. The last entry in the franchise for me was Note Perfect, and I really didn't think that they'd be able to sort of stick the landing with the third one. So I went into this one really sort of quite optimistic, not even cautiously optimistic. I felt comfortable that they'd be able to recapture the magic. Now, it wasn't bad, but it didn't reach those dizzy heights of the third one, and that is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. There's too many characters in this, too many little plot points going on, and really they could have condensed so much down and, you know, probably even not had the original Ghostbusters in it and just focused on the new family and sort of, you know, maybe given the ghost a bit more to do, because the ghost doesn't really have anything to do. And yeah, it just felt like a pleasant watch of a series of missed opportunities, if that makes sense. So it's not a bad film, but just a series of missed opportunities. 2 more Blu-rays to show you, and then 2 4Ks. This one I picked up this week. I love my horror. I love my religious sort of inspired horror films, and like I'm sure a lot of men, I'm a little bit in love with Sydney Sweeney, so I picked up Immaculate on Blu-ray. I'm looking forward to watching this one soon. And then the last Blu-ray to show you, I saw the trailer for this on my DVD of Crimson Peak that I talked about in last month's update. I never thought that I'd actually want to watch this film, and kind of gave it a wide berth because of Russell Brand, who doesn't normally sort of tick any boxes for me. But the trailer looked hilarious, to be fair, and both me and Laura were like, actually, I wouldn't mind giving that a go. And then I found it for £1 on Blu-ray in a charity shop, so I've picked up Get Him to the Greek. I've no interest in picking up the first one, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Never seen it. The trailer didn't do anything for me all the years ago, and so no interest in checking that out. But that one looked like it you know, might tick a few boxes for me. So for the sake of £1, I'm happy to take a punt on it. And that is all the Blu-rays, both boutique and regular. And so, last but not least, we've got 2 4Ks to show you, and completing a sort of an almost holy trinity, if you like, of 4Ks that have come out recently. My sister bought me for my birthday James Cameron's Aliens on 4K, so I'm really happy to now have the 3 sort of unreleased Cameron 4Ks to go along with The Abyss and True Lies. And of course, being the UK release, it's got the nice thick case that the European copy of The Abyss has and the English copy of True Lies has as well. I've not sat down to watch it, but again, I'm saving that one deliberately for when Downstairs is done. I'm going to have a really big sort of like movie week in August and just sort of have a proper, you know, unthemed marathon of just watching all my favourite films and watching certain editions of things that I'm hanging fire. And like whenever I sort of do a new movie room, I always christen it by watching like the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff like that. So I'm going to save that for then, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. And then the last one to show you was a little birthday present to myself, really, an early birthday present. And I'm not a big TV lover, and I don't really get on with TV series as a medium. I don't like the sort of the, you know, sort of it's half an hour, it's 40 minutes, and you just get going and then it stops. And, you know, sort of, I like the sort of the 2 hour, 2.5 hour sort of medium of film and sort of it's telling the story like that. So as a result of that, I don't watch a lot of TV series because unless the premise really grabs me, and I mean like really, really grabs me, I just don't sit down to watch TV series or anything like that. You know, like things like, I think The X-Files is probably the one exception where I've watched like everything they've ever put out. But, you know, even great things like Ozark or Breaking Bad or The West Wing and things like that, I've watched bits of it, I've enjoyed, but I've not felt compelled to sort of see it through, if that makes sense. And that's just me and a personal taste. But I love Star Wars. And I've not been bothered for like Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all the extended universe stuff. However, I did want to get in my collection Obi-Wan Kenobi because it is related to the main Skywalker saga, obviously, because it's got Obi and it's got Darth in it, and it sort of bridges a little bit of a gap and sort of does, you know, a bit of storytelling in sort of the intervening years between Sith and A New Hope. For me, I know this has gotten a lot of flack, but I had the best time with this. I was a 10-year-old boy again watching this. I held off watching it because, and I know I shouldn't because, you know, I shouldn't, but I don't often watch a lot of the Disney Plus streamed stuff that I know is not going to get a physical release, almost out of spite. I think I've said this before, but because, you know, we're physical media collectors and, you know, we want stuff to come out, sort of, I almost sort of cut my nose off to spite my face a little bit, and I'm sort of like, no, I'm not going to watch that. I'll wait for, you know, I'll wait for a label to put it out, or I'll wait for whatever, and I don't buy bootlegs of them or anything like that either, so it's like, you know, I really am cutting my nose off to spite my face. But when they announced the 4K for Obi-Wan, I was like, I don't care how much that costs, I'm buying it. And I loved every second of it. Like I say, I was a 10-year-old boy again, watching Star Wars, and it did everything for me that I needed it to do and more. My only real sort of critique of it is that, again, because I'm not the biggest fan of the series format over a film, I think it would have played a lot better as a 2.5 hour Obi-Wan Kenobi film rather than, you know, a, what was it, you know, 3-4 hour sort of 6-part series. I think, you know, it would have been, there was lots of things you could have sort of trimmed out and sort of, you know, trimmed the fat round the sides of it, and you could have had a much leaner, tighter film than the series. But I loved it. And I think, you know, when I do my Star Wars watch throughs now every couple of years, that's going to be going on, you know, sort of between episode 3 and Rogue One sort of thing. It's going to be plugging that gap. And it was great to step back into that world again, see characters that we knew and loved. And I don't feel I'm really spoiling anything at this point, but the Liam Neeson cameo at the end was great, because for anybody who's read like the novelizations of like Revenge of the Sith, it's alluded to that's, you know, that's going to sort of happen in that, so that's been sort of like a long time coming as well. And yeah, just a really great time I had with that. And I don't often, like I say, binge things like this, but I watched it in an evening. I put it on about 8 o'clock, and then I was up until like, you know, 1 or whatever the next morning, just because I was like, nope, next episode, doing that, and had the best time with it. And so with Obi-Wan Kenobi there, that is my haul for June of 2024. It's been a fantastic month this month. I've become a dad this month. You know, I've got some awesome movies. I'm getting a home cinema bill. I'm on obviously an extended period of leave from work, so that I can, you know, obviously be hands-on with my boy, and it's really great to have that time with him, and also to get a, you know, a bit of chance of respite from the day job as well, because as, you know, as much as I enjoy what I do for a living, it's, you know, it's a very demanding job that I do. And so you know, it's nice to have a bit of time away and a bit of family time and whatever else. So it's been a fantastic month as June, and long may this vibe, this energy continue over the summer. And I hope you guys all have, you know, equally as good summers and have had equally as good months. Again, just one last shout out to Sam. It was really great to meet you in Leeds yesterday. Earlier this week, mate. But yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to go and do a bit of hunting with you and have a coffee, and, you know, finally sort of put a face to the name properly. And we'll have to do it again soon when you're around. And I'm hopefully going to be able to come to the YouTuber meet up in August down in London. Me and Laura are hoping to come down and meet a few of you there, so it'll be again nice to come and say hello and, you know, get a few pictures, swap a few stories, and you know, maybe go and see a movie, or, you know, buy some movies together. Whatever the plan is, we're hoping to be involved if finances allow for it. Please leave a thumbs up on the video if you've enjoyed it. It lets YouTube know to keep making videos like this for you. Leave me your thoughts on the video and any of the pickups down below in the comments. I know that I've only just been dropping the thumbs up and the love hearts back to you, but as you know, I've been quite busy. I've been tired, and everything that's been going on that we just talked about there, but I will respond in due course to you, and it really does mean the world when you leave those comments down below. And if you are coming across me for the first time, hi, nice to meet you. Please think about subscribing to my channel. It helps my channel to grow, of course, but it means that I get to know you over future videos as well, which, as I've said, I really enjoy doing. And above all else, folks, take care of yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon for my next video. And bye for now.